Ultra Kill's punches right now are completely broken. I seriously hope this is a bug. However, the patch notes list changes to arm exhaustion as a feature. What I want about is the fact that punching right now after the Ultra Revamp update feels terrible. Like, Hakita has changed the way that arm exhaustion works, and it feels absolutely awful to use. Now, I know, like, people call me professional complainer, and it's a bit, and it's funny, right? But this is, like, everyone I have spoken to about this has agreed, this is a bad change. It feels awful. It feels terrible. I've even seen people complaining in Ultra Code Discord servers about this, and how just awful it feels to use. So, what I'm getting at is the very specific interaction between the Knuckle Blaster and the Feedbacker, right? Arm exhaustion has always been a thing, and you can even see below the rail cannon meter, there's now a little bar to show your arm exhaustion, right? The more you punch, the slower you start punching, right? It's a thing that happens in the higher difficulties. I think it starts happening after lenient, predominantly, where, you know, it's to nerf punching. Otherwise, you're kind of broken if you just spam punch. And Hakita, I believe, right, this is just me guessing here, has changed it, because before you could use the Knuckle Blaster Shockwave, quickly swap to the Feedbacker, and Knuckle Blast again immediately, right? Like this. You could do that, right? That was cool, that was fine. Whatever, right? Whatever. Who cares? But Hakita decided we need to fix it. So now, once you punch with a Knuckle Blaster, you can't punch with the Feedbacker for several seconds, right? It's like, if you punch with the Knuckle Blaster, you can see it takes your full meter away. The full meter just goes away when you punch the Knuckle Blaster. And then when you swap back to the Feedbacker, that full meter being drained continues, right? So if I try punch with Knuckle Blaster, it takes like 6, 7, 8 presses of the key before I can actually punch again. Whereas before, it would take like, I don't know, 2 or 3. It's a very small change. It's a very small change, I know. But it feels absolutely terrible to use. And the whole point of Ultra Kill is the game is meant to flow. Everything is meant to come together to just feel smooth, right? It's meant to feel like you have so much control. It's literally a movement shooter. And I think the biggest issue that I have personally with this change is if you punch with the Feedbacker and swap to the Knuckle Blaster, right? Like everything's fine. Because if you look at the meter, once you punch with the Feedbacker, you can still just punch immediately with Knuckle Blaster, right? But then if you decide to punch first with the Knuckle Blaster, you have to wait for the Feedbacker to charge before you can punch again with the Why is it different depending on whether I start with the Feedbacker or if I start with the Knuckle Blaster? It's the exact same interaction at the end of the day, right? I'm still punching with the same 2 arms, but I'm punching in a different order, which changes nothing, realistically. And yet, there's a really big discrepancy in how it feels to do this action, right? And it's really, really noticeable in 1-E. It's really, really, really noticeable in 1-E. Especially on Brutal. So if you didn't know, right, because you don't play Brutal, which a lot of people don't, can I have cheat? Thank you. If you didn't know, right, in Brutal, Hideous Masses, their harpoon specifically... Oh god, I have no idea where to teleport. Their harpoon specifically takes more health or more damage to break it, right? So like, you need to punch it more in order to break the Hideous Mass harpoon. Typically, this is done with a Knuckle Blaster hit and a Feedbacker hit. Because otherwise, you would need to punch 3 times with the Feedbacker to break the harpoon, right? Which, you know, that takes a long time. Now, nothing has really changed about this interaction. You can still punch with the feedbacker, swap to the Knuckle Blaster, and everything's fine, right? My problem... Oh, this level was janky, huh? My problem comes with the part where if I try... You know, I can do this, and it works fine. It works perfectly fine, right? If I punch with the feedbacker, swap to Knuckle Blaster, it's perfectly fine, right? But if I try punching with the with the Knuckle Blaster first, let me... Oh, wow, that just killed me straight up. But you know, it's like, why is it different, right? Why is it different? Why is it inconsistent between weapons? Why is it? Why change it? The entire point of this video is to just point out that this... Look at how long that took. But in here, and point out the fact that, like, it doesn't look that bad, right? It honestly doesn't look that bad. But in this room specifically, with the Idled Hideous Mass and the Agony and Tundra fight, if you get harpooned and you accidentally hit with the Knuckle Blaster first, it's almost guaranteed death because of how long it takes to punch the thing off. And even if, right, you know, you get rid of the swords machines, right? Now the Hideous Mass is radiant. If you get harpooned by this guy and accidentally punch the Knuckle Blaster, you know, like, again, you're basically just dead. And it's at the end of a very long, very hard level. I have friends who really dislike this, who really struggle with this because of the fact that you just die if you get harpooned. It's annoying. It's annoying. Whatever. That feels terrible. But then why is it different? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why it's different. That is the entire reason for this video existing, is for me just making a very short rant, a short ramble about this very small feature of this game, just because it feels awful. It feels terrible. I'm just making this in the hopes that it is a bug or that Hakita reverts this. Because like I said at the start of the video, everyone I have spoken to agrees that this feels terrible. If it's something that affects you, which it might not affect you if you don't play Brutal, I don't know, I only play Brutal. But it definitely does affect Brutal. It's definitely noticeable. And it feels awful. And I hope it gets changed. Please, Hakita, please. Please. Fix this or revert it. It feels terrible.